I played about 10 hours of Avowed. Got some impressions on it, man. I got a couple things I want to talk about. There's a lot of stuff that I have to say when it comes to this game. For those of you who don't know, I'm a huge fan of these type of games. One of my all-time favorite games is Skyrim. Now, I'm not saying that, this game is like Skyrim or, anything. There are some similarities, obviously, because of the style game this is. But clearly, it's a completely different game. It's more hub world than anything. Skyrim's more open world. There's a lot to like about this game. I went from the Outer Worlds. Obsidian's always been one of my favorite developers. I always felt like, from South Park, Stick of Truth to, all New Vegas, Fallout New Vegas to the Star Wars Old Republic 2, this company's always been on top of their game. I would say they're the definition of like what Bethesda used to do, but in my opinion, in a lot of ways, they're doing it better at this point. So I played about 10 hours. Shout out to Microsoft for letting me, the Iron Lords podcast, get their hands on it. Play like a little bit of a demo. There's a lot of stuff going on with this game, I would say. First off, I want to like really point out when it comes to, my first impressions on this game is game's gorgeous. Game feels really good. There's overall, when it comes to just the controls in general, especially when you're dodging. I played on keyboard and mouse, and I played with controller. Keep in mind that I did play this on Steam. I don't know how this game's going to run on the Xbox. Now, obviously, it's a preview as well, so you can't really go off of that either. But one thing I will say is, like, this game just, it does what it's supposed to. When I'm sitting here playing it and, you pan out through the world looks gorgeous. That's one thing I really want to point out. The world in this game is gorgeous. First thing I want to go into is like the gameplay, because in my personal opinion, I know a lot of people, we argue about this, but gameplay to me is king, because you can get through a bad story as long as the gameplay's fun, but I've always had a hard time getting through a story if the gameplay's bad. And gotta say it, man, normally with these games, these Skyrim style games, Outer Worlds, if you don't have like long distance fighting to a huge degree, now there are muskets in this game, there's one-handed guns, there are long range combat in this game, but what I will say is this is one of the very first games that I actually enjoyed. I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed the combat itself. Everything feels very grounded. The thing I would probably, negotiate a little bit more with Obsidian is like make the war hammers, like make the two-handed weapons a little bit more dominant. I feel like they're a little small, in my opinion. They're just a little bit small. But when I'm sitting here and swinging these things, even though I feel like they could be a little bit bigger in your hand, when you connect the top of that battle axe or that mace or that mallet, whatever you want to connect to that person, you feel the force behind the attack. Sometimes you hit someone's head with that and they'll just fly off the map. And I really vibe with that, man. There's a lot of things that when it comes to combat, this game did well. So they have put a stagger system, a stagger mechanic in this game in general. So how it would go, like, let's say you're fighting bosses, there'll be a health bar, obviously red at the top, and below that would be a yellow stagger bar. And the more you hit them, that stagger bar goes up, which is really, really good. You get that stagger bar maxed out. The next attack you'll do would be some type of, automatic attack where you'll do an animation or something and you'll cause massive amounts of damage. What I did like is when you have the spell system and you do these moves, all you have to do is be close to them. Maybe you're not close. I did it a couple of times, a good amount far away, but he'll sit there, he'll do some animation and go up, and it does serious massive damage. Like, it really does. And then when you're using an axe or something or sword, you're all up on, you do a cool animation, you'll hit them away. I found me a shield, musket. I didn't check the musket one, but I'm assuming it's going to have a pretty decent one too. I got to give it to them, man. Obsidian, they know what they doing. Oh my God, do they know what they doing. They do a very good job when it comes to stuff like this. This combat, especially when you're fighting bosses, feels very fluid. You know, that dodge button. You know, a lot of the times dodges in games, I always feel like there's something missing. But you got a stamina bar. It's in the middle. Obviously, you got your own little, you know, character points that you go into. I do like that they give that in this game because I know that Bethesda's kind of going away from that. I really enjoyed when you're starting a character, you get to choose where you put your attributes. You know, do I want to go into strength? Do I want it to go into guns? You know, when it comes to the skill trees, you still get access to all the skill trees regardless. But, you know, I want the skill trees because there might be something in other skill trees that might heighten my play style as another class. For instance, you know, I don't know if it's in this, but what I would like is, let's say you're a ranger with a bow, you know, and you use a skill tree from like maybe the mage to catch the bow on fire to shoot an arrow. You know, I don't know if that's in the game, but that's what I'm saying, where it's nice that they're giving you the ability to enhance other aspects of you that's not necessarily in the skill tree that you're in. Okay, now let's get into, you know, other stuff. Story and the world building. All right, story is one thing. I don't want to go too much into it. Obviously, you are an individual from the Empire. He has sent you there because the Living Lands are having some serious issues, and he wants you to figure it out and essentially fix the situation that's going on. So that's pretty much what's going on in this game. Let's talk about exactly the world building. You know, dialogue. Dialogue's always been big in these type of games. Dialogue is massive in these type of games. And I just played Dragon Age Veilguard, and I felt like I didn't really get too much of any form of pushback in anything. I didn't feel like my companions, you know, interrupted in any way, shape, or form. I'm happy. I am thrilled to tell you now that when it comes to this particular game, Avowed, all that was there. You know, when I was sitting there talking, Kai would butt in with his opinions on stuff. You know, when you're doing the dialogue, it would go off of, you know, what attributes you have. Do you have the attributes to like interrogate someone, to intimidate someone? You know, do you have enough attributes to maybe have an intellect check, skill check? You know, those are back in this game, and they've always been in these Obsidian games. Obsidian's like one of the very few studios that didn't get rid of it. You know, I would say something like, you know, Larian Studios and Baldur's Gate 3, they're doing it pretty well too. You know, when I'm playing this and I'm sitting here and I'm seeing these dialogue options, and keep in mind they're pretty in deep too. I will say that, you know, they're pretty good. I'm gonna be honest with you. This game's lit, man. Graphics. We gotta talk about the graphics. This game is gorgeous. The character models look good. Now, you guys know, if you've been watching me for a while, especially on the Iron Lords podcast, I've criticized the artwork change. Now, I know a lot of people felt like I didn't, this wasn't an artwork change. In my opinion, it was. That first trailer that they showed with the arrow going through looked like a more of a realistic type of art style. And I was really nervous going into because that's the kind of art style I wanted for this particular type of game. You know, that medieval fantasy style game. But I'm here to tell you I'm okay with this now. You know, actually playing this and seeing this artwork, it really felt nice. You know, it looked nice too. Some of the painting that you can do, some of the background drops was nice. You know, in the 10 hours I played this game, there are some areas where the textures are a little muddy, but I wouldn't say nothing in this game just looked flat out bad. Everything in this game looked good, especially the environments, man. You know, there's one time I went into a spider cave and I was fighting this giant spider, and, you know, it was a lot faster. Like I said, when it comes to the boss combat, some of these bosses they're atrocious, man. They're hard to kill. They have these abilities that are really annoying, and you have to really look at your stamina bar, which is related to an attribute, which you should probably level that up, just a little bit of a forewarning. And when I'm sitting here looking around and, you know, you're looking down, you see all these people fighting in the background, you know, your companions. What I like is there's like, kind of like if you guys played Final Fantasy Rebirth and Remake, where you have that hub that you can click where it slows down the whole world, and then you can kind of choose who you want to do this, who you want to do that. I really enjoy that that's there, especially when you're doing wand style combat and you want someone else to contribute to what you're doing. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I was criticizing this game a lot, but I never lost hope that Obsidian couldn't give me a W. Obsidian's always been fantastic at like giving me the style game that I enjoy. I was just a little disappointed that, you know, they kind of, to me, changed the appearance of the game, you know, the art style type of game. But I'm going to be real with you. After playing this 10 hours of Avowed, I'm here to tell you, from stuff like the combat, to the story, to the world building, to the graphics, to the art style, to the audio design. The audio design of this game was really good. Like I said, you know, especially when you're swinging those big halberds around, and swinging those big claymores. I don't think I ever got a claymore, but you know, those big weapons in general, you know, you felt the energy, you felt the weight in them. And I gotta be real. This game went from something I was extremely hyped for, extremely hyped to play, to now is my most anticipated game for 2024. I mean 2025. I don't know. Fable's up there too. Fable is definitely probably beating Avowed to a degree. Now I know a lot of you is going to like ask me, Addict, you know, can you compare it to like a Baldur's Gate, Dragon Age Veilguard? Now look, obviously I haven't beat Avowed by any stretch of the imagination. I beat Dragon Age Veilguard, and I played a lot of Baldur's Gate 3. I didn't beat Baldur's Gate 3 because I was one of those people that ended up playing it with other people, and when we lost one or two people, I would end up starting over with another companion set of people, and then it was just rinse and repeat. I need to go and play that game by myself at this point. Look, I don't know if it can hold its own weight to something like a Baldur's Gate 3. I'm going to be honest with you, but damn, man, the dialogue felt very Baldur's Gate like. Some of the creatures I was fighting felt really good. I will say, just playing off the 10 hours I played, it took me about 50 hours to beat Dragon Age Veilguard. This game, you know, in terms of an RPG, is dramatically better than that game. But damn, when I say to you guys, I was grinning cheek to cheek when I was playing this. You know, bravo, Obsidian. You know, obviously we got to get our hands on the actual game. And you guys know, I'll keep it real with you. You guys know when it comes to how these games are, I'm harder on the stuff I care about more than I'm harder on the stuff I don't care about. I went at the Zelda Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Even though that I felt like those are good games, especially Tears of the Kingdom. I really enjoyed that game. Felt like they were good games, just not good Zelda games. You know, I would say the same thing about Assassin's Creed, the newer ones, when it comes more of an RPG than the older ones. They're good games, they're just not good Assassin's Creed games. I'm just going to be honest with you, that this feels like identical to what I would expect from a Obsidian game, and there ain't nothing wrong with that, man. There ain't nothing wrong with that. But anyway, put in the comment section below, ask me a question you guys have it on Avowed. You know, this is one of the videos I will go back and read some of the comments and, you know, answer them. Sometimes I don't answer the comments because some of you guys be savage in that comment section. I ain't trying to deal with you. You ain't ruining my day. But anyway, put in the comment section below what you guys feel about that. If you guys enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like button. It's always appreciated. You can always follow me on Twitter, Lord Addict ILP. Be sure to go over there and follow my streaming channel, Addict Arena. I've been streaming over there a lot more. I'm doing all the work for this Avowed behind the scenes, so I haven't been able to really stream there. But definitely go over there and check out all that. All that's in the description below. But I see you guys next time, and I hope you guys enjoy Avowed when it comes out just as much as I enjoyed the first 10 hours of the game. Peace.